The Boar Hunt is a story from the Mabinogion. A guy wants the hand of a young maiden, but his horrible stepfather, who happens to be a giant, says, oh, you've got to do these 7 tasks before you can have my daughter's hand in marriage. And one of them was to get the comb and the shears that were between the ears of the turf, the wild boar, which come from Ireland. The wild boar originally was a king that had been disgraced and turned by God into a wild boar. And he become an incredibly nasty wild boar. They chased him to Ireland, he jumped in the sea and come to Wales. And this is where it gets interesting, because it gets very topographically detailed. He arrives in Wales in somewhere near Whitsands Bay, Caerhun, and then he crosses the Preselles, he comes across Carmarthen, to Larne, he crosses the Tav, which we'll see in a minute, and then he heads across Carmarthen up to the Clew and the Dyffryn Ochor to the Black Mountains, where there's place names for the boar, peppers the landscape, stories. But the clue I got was a writer, a poet called David Jones, and he said if you were to read the story of the Boar Hunt from the Mabinogion, from Culhwch and Olwen, with one eye on Cyril Fox's distribution of megaliths in South Wales, you'll see a pattern. And I looked and I'd seen it myself. And I've been following it ever since, about 20 years, and what I found is that these stones actually follow that. But also, from certain points along you can see the Preselles and the Black Mountains, as if it's kind of two sacred kind of places, sacred geography that's on an old journey. It's a bit like the Aboriginal landscape as narrative, songlines kind of thing. And it's probably a lot to do with the natural movement of animals through the landscape. British Isles would have been like the Amazon jungle in them days. It's been a very dense forest, deciduous forest. The only incursion into that would have been the movement of large mammals through the landscape. They were in turn followed by Mesolithic hunters who gathered firewood. They slashed and burned, and later the Neolithic farmers done the same, slashed and burned along these tracks. So the trail starts with large mammals moving through the landscape, ends up as trails through the landscape. These become the early settlement places, and they in turn become sedimented by monumentality. That's where they put standing stones up and monuments. And that's how you can still follow the trail of ancient migratory paths of animals by looking at the standing stones from the early Bronze Age.
Do these standing stones appear in the Mabinogion then?
Well, they're not as such, but they're kind of implied. Sacred spaces are mentioned, but no particular stones aren't, no.
Is there anything about the positioning of these then that's relevant?
Well, they mark midsummer sunrise. Isn't that enough? Isn't that clever enough here?
How far apart are they? Is that?
And could you have done it if you were there at that time?